Hello, this is a tutorial on how to make cuts, scars, and wounds from just Elmer's glue and cotton balls. This is great, cheap, and easy, tons of fun, and just plain simple. It's great to know that you can do these effects with Elmer's glue if you don't have liquid latex or maybe allergic to latex, anything like that. So I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get into it. Okay, to start off with our supplies, we're going to need Elmer's glue, cotton balls, foundation that matches your skin, red makeup, brown pencil, brushes and a sponge, cotton swabs, and a bruise wheel that I accidentally left out. Next, we are going to rip apart the cotton balls, and for this, you really don't need much, but you just pull on it until it starts coming apart, and you just create little strips. Make a nice little pile, set them aside. The thinner the strips, the better. Eventually, you'll end up with a bunch of cotton like this, and you'll be ready for the next phase. Okay, so I am currently putting the glue on a piece of cardboard. You want to put it on something disposable so there's not really as much of a mess to clean up. And you'll want to cut the tip off of one of the Q-tips like this. I like doing it at an angle so it gives you options for spreading. Get a little glob of glue like this, and you just start applying it to your face. And now, depending on how big you want to make the scar or the wound, you know, whatever you're gonna make, you'll want to match that size with a glue base so that you can stick all the cotton to your face. So now I'll take my little strip of cotton, real thin piece, just gonna put it right on the glue. Just pat it down, make sure it's sticking on there. And so now I'll remove the loose little pieces of cotton so that they can get out of the way. Anything sticking up that won't come off, you just press it down. And I've got the start of a scar or a wound. Now I'm going to add just a couple more little cuts and wounds to give a little more emphasis. So one thing is you don't want to make the glue too thin or put too light of an amount, because it can result in the cotton falling off as you're putting on other makeup. So just be careful about that. You also don't want to put too much cotton on top of the glue, because that can result in the cut falling off. After you have applied the amount of cotton that you think is reasonable for the wound that you are creating, pat it down a little bit just to make sure it's secured and locked into place. So now I'm going in with the brown pencil, which I recommend waiting until the glue is mostly dried to do this. But you just go right around the edges of your cotton, and it kind of adds some depth to the scarred area. I found it really helps give that illusion of a real facial wound. Now you can see here I'm having a little bit of issues with this bottom cut, and part of it's because I put too much cotton, so I'm trying to take some off, but the real issue is because I put too little amount of glue, so it's messing up. Now that the cotton is applied and the glue is dried, I've done my brown pencil, I'm ready for foundation. So I take my big brush and put just a little bit of foundation on it at a time. Dab it onto your face. The goal is to get that cotton more skin tone, preferably your own skin tone, as close as you can get. Scars are always a little off colored than your non-scarred skin, so it's okay if it's a little different. I then went in with my sponge and a little more foundation to try and get in between those crevices. It can be quite difficult because you need to be gentle so you don't pull off your scar or prosthetic. And so you just dab it on there. You can see that brown is kind of blending in now. So it's kind of coming to life. Just dab, dab, dab. And there goes that scar. Whoops. Yeah, totally knocked that one off of my face, and my issue was definitely the glue. So keep that in mind. If you're gonna use glue, use the right amount. Now you can see that cotton is really turning more of a skin color. So the cut's starting to really look more natural rather than prosthetic. When you just keep applying little by little and gently, it'll eventually come out. It's a slow process, but it looks great in the end. Now I'm using the brown pencil again to kind of fill in any little spots that might be my actual skin that you see under the cotton. It just helps cover up any of that missing part that might throw off the effect. Doing the foundation touch-up not only adds that slight bit that gives it a little extra kick, but it also blends in that brown that I just put on. Since that's so fresh, it really stands out, so it kind of needs to be worked in to look more natural. Now I'm going to take my red makeup and I'm going to take my fine little brush and I'm just going to get the smallest amount of makeup that I can on the very edge of the brush. It needs to be just the edge because we're going to be doing some precise work now on top of the scar, and you don't want to overdo it and just paint completely red. You gotta dab it in there and just work slowly. You can always add more, but it's way harder to take off some if you overdo it. So I just kind of started from the outside and went in gently. You can add as much or as little red as you want, and it'll give off a different feeling, a different effect of that wound. Basically what I was going for was a fresh, I got hit in the face and there's missing chunks of skin and it's just gross. So I'm just going in over my scar. And just kind of doing that to both of them. So this is where the bruise wheel comes into play. The bruise wheel is cool because it has 5 different colors. We're going to use 3, which is going to be yellow, green, and this really dark purple. Almost looks black. Here's the yellow. We're going to start with that and just put a little bit on the sponge. And I just started going around the edges of where my scars are and just around all that area. Kind of make one big circle around everything, because if you get hit in one spot, bruising will occur and it spreads. So I'm just adding this yellow to give that effect. Now I'm going to add in some of the green from the bruising wheel. And this is nice because it's real gross, so it looks like the area is really infected when you use this green. And depending on how bad you want to make the bruise, you can make the green lighter or darker. And I like to go kind of around the edges of where I put the yellow. And you kind of want to overlap it a little bit just so you can blend it. You'll get a nice little gradient type transition that'll look as if it were a real bruise. And you just kind of tap it around and blend it away. Then I went in with a Q-tip to kind of blend it more in those areas where that red is, and I didn't want to touch it I already had an issue where I spread some of the red and I didn't mean to. But you just kind of want to get everything in there. Now I'm going to use the purple. It's very dark. So you want to use a very, 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 very light amount. And just do the dab method again. Right around the edges of the green. Don't even overlap. Try to overlap because I did such a small amount of green that it didn't need much overlapping since I was going to blend it anyway. And so I just kind of put that purple on, went in with a fresh Q-tip and just kind of rubbed it around. Really tried to blend it into my skin while also getting that bruise effect. I just added a little bit more green because I kind of covered up some of it. And I just added some yellow too, just right back on top. So you get good dark bruising underneath as it lightens towards the scars. And everything is coming together nicely. So now we have the finished product. You can see the bruising, the purple, the green, the yellow, and then you got that red in there. And that foundation really did well with my skin. So you can see here, it's as simple as that. Just a little bit of Elmer's glue and some torn up cotton. You got yourself a nice little effects project. Cuts and wounds. So I thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial.